Welcome back into that Sean podcast. I know, we're so sporadic lately. So sporadic, but we're still here. Making it work. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to give it over. Cat Daddy, what's on your mind?
You know what they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. We want to build the anticipation as we come back and start talking about more of these college prospects to keep your eye on for the 2023 drafts. Because this week, we're talking running backs, we're talking wide receivers. This could be a good episode.
And darn Skippy it could. And, as you know I like to do, without further ado, let's get into it. And we're going to start with those running backs. And here's the problem. I don't know if there's going to be much nuance with the running backs, but we're going to find out. Because if you guys don't know, this year, me and Cat Daddy aren't sharing each other's lists with each other. So, let's start with your number 5 guy.
My number 5 guy is Cartavius Bigsby, also known as Tank from Auburn. So, Tank is fitting because he likes to run over people. And last year, things didn't quite go his way. He had to work with probably one of the worst run blocking units in college football last season. It wasn't very good. He didn't take that next step that everybody was looking for, that I was looking for. He didn't get to take that. But he's got to do it this year. Because this year, Auburn's looking a little bit better. And he's got the full workload. I don't think anybody in that backfield is going to challenge him for touches. He's going to have that 3-down role. And we know that he's got the receiving chops. We've seen that he's a willing blocker. And similar to how I thought about Kayvon Thibodeau last year, yeah, I know they're different positions, but I thought Thibodeau was winning more with athleticism than he was with a plan. And sometimes I feel similar about Tank. I think sometimes he tries to win with that ridiculous athleticism he has, and he doesn't quite have a full plan when he's going. But if he can develop that plan, if he can not rely on the athleticism as much to win, I think it could be a really good year. But he's got to have a plan in place, and something I'm going to keep an eye on this year is ball security, because he had fumbles last year. He had 4 of them. And he had a couple of drops. He had like 5 drops on 36 targets. So, little ball security, maybe some concentration in the pass game. He's my number 5. Who do you got?
My number 5 is Sean Tucker out of Syracuse. He's a big boy, 5'10", 210. He's got some nice speed, but he is more of a power back. But I mean, don't get it twisted. He'll take it to the house. He has all the tools to put it together in terms of size, speed. He's also sculpted real nice. You know how I like them sexy bodies. But so he could easily move up this list. My only worry is he plays for Syracuse, and Syracuse hadn't been that great lately, but he is a shining star on that Syracuse offense.
Yeah, he really is, and this will give me the chance to talk about him, because guess who's my number 4 guy? I love when we do this and it's not planned. So, can he run around people? Yeah. Can he run through people? Yeah. He's got some quick feet? Yeah. I mean, Sean Tucker doesn't get the attention he deserves because he plays for an unrecognized Syracuse team. And they're in the ACC. Last season, he set the single season record for rushing yards for the Orange. And he had close to 1,500. I think it was like 1,496 was the exact number. And I thought that was pretty good considering players like Larry Zonka, Jim Brown, they attended Syracuse. And I think Tucker is just scratching the surface. He's got vision, patience, footwork, and that should all lead to a better 2022 season. He'll certainly have more attention, more eyes on him this season, because he's already received a few All-American accolades in the preseason. So those just got announced. Something I want to keep an eye on for him is pass catching. We've seen it in a very small sample size, but can he improve as a pass catcher so we can add that element to his game so he can show NFL teams that he's capable of being a 3-down back?
All right, so my number 4 guy is another big boy. You may have talked about more. Yes, it is Tanks Bigsby. And the only reason why he's above Sean Tucker right now is his change of direction is insanity. I'm worried. I'm worried this guy's going to snap his ankle in half the way he does this. But right now is a skill, and it is nasty, and it leaves much to be desired for a defender trying to get him, because he's in one spot and then he's in the other spot, and they're left gasping and grabbing air.
So I like how we have our 4 and 5 mixed up.
We'll see how these top 3 go.
I know. I'm very curious if I feel
number
fairly
one,
confident that we share the same number 1.
Probably the same number 2, but let's see how it goes. It could be the same top 3, I think.
We'll see. We'll see.
Let's see how it goes. Who's your number 3?
All right, my number 3 is Zach Evans from Mississippi, from Ole Miss, transferred from TCU. He has 146 career carries to his name, and he's averaging a whopping 7.3 yards per carry.
Disgusting.
And you can make the argument that he was being very underutilized at TCU because he was averaging less than 10 carries per game in his career. So he just wasn't being used effectively. Last year, it was the beginning of the season was going well, and then he had a toe injury that cut his season short. Up until that point, he was averaging about 15 carries per game. Now he transfers to Ole Miss, and he gets to play in Lane Kiffin's offense, and I think that is going to be a great match because it's up to Lane Kiffin to unlock that potential that's really been buried in Zach Evans ever since he was recruited. He was recruited at a 5-star prospect. Everybody's expecting that 5-star production, but we haven't seen it yet. So we'll see how well. It's not from
lack of ability. It's been from lack of touches.
Opportunity, absolutely. So we're going to see how well he meshes with his offense.
I'm going to spill the beans. Zach Evans is my number 3 too. And the other thing that Mr. Cat Daddy forgot to mention, along with that whopping 7.3 yards per attempt, that includes a 4.8 yards after contact. Good Lord.
I mean, he's quick, he's decisive, he fights for extra yards. The arm tackles won't do it.
No.
He's not going to win with jukes, or he's not going to win with creative moves. He is simply going to win with speed. He just screams upside.
All right, next up, I'm guessing number 2 is the same, but I'll let you have the stage on this one.
All right. My number 2 is another transfer player, and he transferred from Georgia Tech. It's Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama.
Ooh, so we are different. Go ahead.
This is going to be fun. So you could see he was talented at Georgia Tech. You could also see that he couldn't reach his ceiling if he stayed at Georgia Tech. You give him an offensive line, you give him a multi-dimensional offense, and we're about to see the real Jamar Smith stand up. Of all the running back prospects, he's one of the few who could already be a 3-down back entering the league. You've seen him run around people, through people, over people, but the passing game was where he's underrated. He was underutilized in Georgia Tech's passing game. So look for that to change this year. And something else to like is he's a willing pass blocker. Plus, he's got acceleration to be a threat every time he touches the ball. The one thing I want to keep an eye on for him, though, is he able to create on his own, or does he need plays schemed for him to be effective? And I think we're going to find out that from Alabama this year.
All right, so my number 2 guy is probably and he's not the best back because we already know who the best back, but he's probably the biggest home run hitter in this group. Also, I think I know why Cat Daddy left him off his list. It's because he was burned by many of these players last year, so he's probably just avoiding this team altogether. But it's Devin.
Is it? Yeah. A-Chain. Yes.
A-Chain from Texas A&M. I know them A&M boys, kind of burned you last year. You must have a sour taste in your mouth because this guy's insane with ability.
I had him as number 6 on my list. He was real close to the top 5. Is between him and Bigsby getting into my 5 spot.
Just a pure blazer. Blink and he's gone.
Yeah, he's listed at 5'9", 185, but he's got track speed. You're not going to see him in line for that 3-down roll when he gets to the next level, but he's got 2 traits the NFL is going to love. He's got speed, and he's got big playability. He's a home run threat every time he touches the ball.
If that boy shows he can catch, 3 down doesn't matter.
What may not be in his favor is the size. He's listed.
I know.
He's by Texas A&M, 5'9", 185. Probably an inch or 2 shorter, probably a couple pounds less.
We'll see.
Can he hold up? I mean, will he have a career like
Darren Sproles?
There we go. That's who I was thinking. So
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Next up is our number 1, and I'm just gonna say it because everybody knows who it is. It's Bijan Robinson, running back out of Texas, 6 foot. 220, ridiculously special, best back to come out of college since Saquon Barkley. I think he's gonna have a better pro career than Barkley, even though Barkley is still a fantastic running back. He just, he has pitfalls and he plays for the New York Giants, but that's neither here nor there. This guy pretty much has it all. His lower body balance and ability to break tackles is elite. I mind you. Go ahead, Cat Daddy. Give some more of this.
Yeah. Hey, we can debate through 2 through 5 all day long. But what we cannot debate is who's number 1.
This
Bijan
is my
Robinson.
only first round running back.
Absolutely. Jamar Gibbs may be able to sneak into the end of the first round, depending on how well he does this year. But if you're thinking if one running back goes, it's going to be Bijan. He's got that blend of power, speed, cutting ability, and I think he has that ability to make him a higher running back pick than Najee Harris was 2 years ago. He loves to break tackles. I think he had a total of 79 last season. And he can catch the rock. Last year, 26 receptions, 293 through the air, 4 touchdowns. He can pass block. Bijan Robinson will be a first-round pick. He is the true bell cow running back of this draft class.
All right. I agree with all that. We'll see how this year goes for him. Let's go to the fun stuff. I know running backs are fun too, but wide receivers is the real fun stuff. So, it's Cat Daddy. I'm going to let you go first again. Who is your number 5 wide receiver? My number 5 may surprise you.
I had a hard time with number 5. 1 through 4 I felt pretty good about. Number 5, I went through about 3-4 different names. And I settled on 1. And the name I settled on is an underrated, maybe a little bit of an older prospect. And does that sort of describe the same person that you got?
I don't know. Let's find out.
It is Cedric Tillman from Tennessee.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, anyways, Cedric Tillman had a breakout season last year for the Volunteers. After reviewing Tillman and the Tennessee program a little bit more, I actually think there might be some, emphasis on some, hope for Velus Jones Jr. in the NFL. And maybe, just maybe, he wasn't as horrible a pick as I had originally thought. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to be a good pick, but just not as horrible. But back to Tillman. Due to injuries and questionable coaching, he was limited to 6 games in his first 3 seasons. Then the Tennessee offense really improved last year under new head coach Josh Heupel. Tillman quarterback Hendon Hooker had a great connection, and that's expected to carry over into the season. In a class with seemingly a lot of smaller and or slot receivers, I love the size that Cedric Tillman can offer because he's going to measure in, well, he's being listed as 6'3", 215. And with that size comes a physical style of play. So when Tennessee needs to get the ball downfield, Tillman is their man because he's able to stretch the field. Some things I want to keep an eye on though. One of them is route running. Will he be able to improve his route running this season to dominate the SEC? And can he repeat? Will he be able to repeat his success and prove that he's more than just a one-year wonder? Because if he can, his NFL prospects are looking good. That's my number 5 guy. It sounds like we had some similar as far as underrated, maybe a little bit older prospects. So I'm curious who your number 5 is.
Well, my guys, where you lost me is the old but underrated. So my number
not
5
the older
guy,
part, the underrated part.
Well, I mean, he's still a little bit older, but not older. My number 5 guy, and yes, peoples, I am being a homer right now.
Josh Downs.
Josh Downs out of North Carolina. Yes, holy cow, an undersized wide receiver at 5'10", 171, but the dude's got blazing speed. The dude's got great quickness. He is actually, and maybe possibly quicker than fast. He will tear it up in the slot, and he has proven he can do on the outside also, even though he does take the majority of his snaps from the slot. I think he can use the, get a couple more pounds. But after a certain guy came out who apparently didn't have much weight to him and went in the first round, I think Josh Downs can, still be my number 5 guy and be a solid NFL player. The guy, he just made play after play, has insane body control when the ball's in the air. Just he's a very nice player and a very dynamic guy, and I think he will continue to play well this year.
So Josh Downs was not in my top 5, but he was one of those guys who I was going through. I do have a couple notes for him. I think he may be one of the fastest wide receivers in this draft class.
Nasty.
And he's a good route runner. But so far, he's been used almost exclusively out of the slot by North Carolina.
True.
So my question for him is, does he have that outside element to his game? Can he play on the outside?
But I've got some names for you.
Mm-hmm.
KJ Hamler, Elijah Moore, Wan'Dale Robinson. They were all drafted fairly high. Guess where they spent exclusively in college, pretty much? In the slot. Just saying.
No. Yeah, absolutely. It's just I'd feel better about him if I had seen him win on the outside him win on the outside this season.
I'm just saying those are guys with similar size, because you also got guys like A.J. Brown, who spent most of his college career in the slot. That's mostly because DK Metcalf was on the outside, and you ain't putting that boy in the slot. All right, let's go to your number 4 guy.
All right, number 4 guy is a transfer. Pitt to USC.
Gonna be the same. Yeah, let's just say it's the same.
Jordan Addison, the reigning Biletnikoff Award winner. He's a good route runner who knows how to get open. He uses great body control to corral the passes, and he can win from anywhere in the field, not just the slot. He'll be playing without Kenny Pickett this season, but I think Addison made Pickett.
I agree.
More than Pickett made Addison.
I was going to ask that same question. Do we think that Addison was more the reason why Kenny Pickett became a first-round pick?
Yeah, and I think that talent and ability is why Addison felt comfortable entering the transfer portal so late in the cycle. He's got the hands, he's got the speed, he's got the athleticism to be the guy at USC. He's going to be
playing with a better quarterback this year.
It is expected to be a smash season for him, but some things I want to keep an eye on: drops. According to PFF, Addison has dropped at least 10 passes each season at Pitts. So I don't know if it's a concentration thing, but he's got to take care of those drops. And he does have a little bit of a slender frame. He's listed at 6 foot 175, which would put him in that Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson range. Yeah, what else you got for Addison?
I think you articulated it all appropriately. I mean, the guy, again, has all the ability in the world. My whole point was I was going to say he made Kenny Pickett. We'll see what he does for, is it Caleb Williams that's going to be starting? See what he does for Caleb Williams. But I think that if he puts on a couple more pounds and, gets a little bit of bulk, this guy could move up the boards. Even though, let's go to my number 4. That was my number 4 guy. So I will say my number 3 guy now, since we both, and let's see if this is the same. My number 3 guy is a guy who's all the ability in the world. And it's just funny. This team that he's on seems to be wasting talent. I don't know why they like wasting talent. But this may describe my guy too. So my guy is Quentin Johnston out of TCU, and just like the running back we spoke about in the last one, they just waste talent because this guy is literally an alpha dog, 6'4", 200 pounds, just. And then the beast coming out on the outside, yet they rarely throw him the ball. What is going on here, Cat Daddy?
All right. Well, my number 4 or my number 3 guy is the same as Quentin Johnston from TCU. And he is a big play waiting to happen. I mean, he's averaging 20 plus yards per catch.
What is going on here, though?
Coaches and usage. I believe TCU has a new head coach in Sonny Dykes, and I think that is going to make a difference in the offense, which is why I'm a little bit more excited about Quentin Johnston's potential, because I think he will be better utilized this season. I mean, that size, 6'4", 210.
Let me give one of the stats that I'm looking at here. So he had 55 receptions, right? Or he has 55 career receptions, right? Guess how many broken tackles he's got in 55 career receptions?
I already know this one. I looked that one up too.
26 from a wide receiver. What are we talking about? Yeah. Give this boy the ball.
He's not going to give you the same yard after catch ability as our top 2 guys will, but he creates yards after the catch. It becomes a threat in a different way. He's got the potential to pick up the yards. He's got the size, like 6'4", 210. That DB trying to tackle him is going to have a partner. He's going to have a teammate there. The size and athleticism will allow him to stretch the field. And he's played well in the slot. He's played well on the outside. And he's great in the jump ball situations. But something I want to keep an eye on for him is development. He's a pretty good route runner, but I think we need to see a little bit more. I want to see that route tree grow a little bit more for him. And along with that, I'd like to see him in more situations where he has to create his own separation. I want to see him improve that separation ability. And some people will rightfully question that production, because there hasn't been much, because TCU is more of a run-based offense these past couple of years.
Tell that, what's his name?
They use more than one running back. So they definitely had a platoon back there, and they were more run-based. But now at Sonny Dykes, I think they're going to let it fly more. And I'm really excited for his potential. He's one of the guys I'm really excited to watch this season. Now I'm curious who you have at number 2, because I have a feeling we have the same 2 people. I just don't know what order they're going to be in.
Who's your number 2?
You want me to go first?
You go first. Let's hear it.
All right. So let's see if you can guess who it is. The sky is the limit for him.
That's all
can you guess? Well, I think everything else I have for him might give it away.
For both of these guys.
It really is. That was a horrible guess. That was horrible.
I mean,
my number two is Jackson Smith and Jigba from Ohio State.
Shame on you, sir. Shame on you.
He ended the 2021 season on fire. He balled out in the Rose Bowl. He put up 15 for 336, 3 touchdowns when Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson opted out. He was unstoppable against Utah. The Ohio State knows how to recruit wide receivers. The Ohio State knows how to develop wide receivers. And Smith and Jigba has a few similarities with Garrett Wilson. Good route runner, played mostly out of the slot, but has the size, quickness, the physicality to be successful on the outside. Can he make that transition to the outside? Can he be that primary target? The Rose Bowl is a small sample size, but it was something to keep an eye on.
A small sample size.
How successful will he be without Olave, without Wilson, to take the pressure off? He led the Ohio State in receiving yards last season.
Yes, he did.
Thanks to the Rose Bowl, because if he didn't have that game, he wouldn't have finished number 1. And similar to Garrett Wilson, one of the biggest elements to his game is that ability to pick up extra yards. He doesn't have to rely on speed to pick up those yards. He relies on his shiftiness. So,
also, he's my number 1, people. So I'll talk about him now. You're forgetting the fact you bring up Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave. He's more physical than both of them. There's that part of it too. So yes, similar, yes, but not the same. I think he is a better wide receiver than both. His physicality is better. He's bigger than both, actually. And I think this year he will prove that he can play on the outside, just like he did in that small sample size from the Rose Bowl, where he had how many yards?
336.
Woo! Let's get busy. All right.
So I'll let you do your number 2, who would be my number 1. I'll let you go.
All right. So the number 2 here is Kayshawn. Is it Boye?
Boutte.
It is Boutte. So we're going. Really? All right. What's that movie? What's the movie I'm thinking of? Buckaroo Banzai. We're going straight Buckaroo Banzai here. Boutte. All right, Kayshawn Boutte. All right. First part of this, again, just legit speed here. Nice size at 6 foot 205, but legit, just home run speed for this guy. He can get the ball and be out there in the blink of an eye. All the ability in the world to make people miss. Great with the ball in his hands. My only concern with him, which I don't have for Jackson over there, or JSN as I'm gonna call him, is he's not a contested catch guy. He is going to get out physical when the ball is at the point of contact, and I need my number one receiver to have a little bit more physicality. We'll see this year if he can prove that he's going to be much more physical than before, but I think I have the stat here from PFF where it's 7 out of 25 in contested catch situations. That's not good. Again, though, guy's number 2 on my list. He's a first-round wide receiver all the way, and that speed you cannot teach, and the other ability you cannot teach. Go ahead. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I'm not going to tell you why you're wrong, but I'm going to tell you why I have him as my number 1. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Kayshon Boutte is next in line to be that talented LSU wide receiver to take the NFL by storm. I have him as my number 1 over JSN because I project his ceiling to be higher. And I love that he's shown the ability to already play all over the field because he can be lined up anywhere from outside to the slot. He's winning. Last year, season was cut short with a fractured ankle. So his ranking as my number 1 is based on the projection. So first and foremost, I hope he is healthy, recovered from the fractured ankle that limited him to 6 games last season. And I believe he had 2 surgeries on the ankle already. Now, Kayshon Boutte, if he comes back fully healthy, he can be the number 1 wide receiver by the end of the draft process. So his ranking for me is based on projection and an upward trajectory that he has.
I noticed how you just skipped over that lack of physicality, but that's okay.
No, I'm not done yet. I got a little bit more.
Okay,
I got a little bit more. Now, things didn't start out great for him this season. This calendar year, you're thinking his season ended too soon. He had 2 ankle surgeries. Brian Kelly comes in as new head coach, drops a little bit of shade on him, a little bit of criticism about not being fully engaged while he's recovering from his injury. So that's not a good sign to see. Things have gotten better between those two since then because I think that was the kick in the pants that Boutte needed to step up his game. You look back at his freshman year, true freshman. He finally got extended playing time toward the end of the season. He turned in 3 consecutive 100-yard performances to conclude the season, including a 300-plus yard game in the season finale. Then last year, just 6 games, he puts up 38 catches, 500-plus yards, 9 touchdowns. And I don't think that we've seen his full potential yet. He's a great route runner with the ability to gain separation almost at will because he's got that quick change of direction ability. He's a burner. Reportedly ran a 4.37 in high school. Hopefully that's true because I'd love to see him show up at the combine and put up a 4.3 in the 4.3 range.
Josh Downs.
Oh no, not at all. But he's got the speed, he's got the athleticism. He is going to be a major threat after the catch. He's got the ability to score from anywhere at any time.
Agreed.
Something to keep an eye on, though, is those contested catch situations. He has to do better in those situations, but if he continues to separate with ease, he won't be in many contested catch situations.
Oh, in the NFL, he will.
He will
NFL,
be.
He will.
He will.
Just you
But
wait.
that was a concern, something I had my eye on for him to improve on this season as well. But I just told you why I think he's my number 1. So
That's fair.
We'll let the people decide.
It's okay being wrong. All right, people. That's all she wrote for this week for the college football edition. Cat Daddy, any words of wisdom for the people?
If JSN is your number 1, consider switching to Kayshon Boutte.
Oh, that's just rude. That's just rude. I'm gonna send Matt to your house.
That's fine. We'll enjoy a beer. We'll talk it over.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He takes it very seriously, my friend. Very seriously.
I know. And it's nothing against Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's nothing against him.
Speaking of...
But he'll listen to this.
Speaking of... college football season is going to be on us before you know it, people. So that means tailgating's coming up. Make sure you be careful when you're grilling in those parking lots.